Hey everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I am your host and I'm so happy to be here. I'm finally back live. Seems like I've missed the show a few times lately, which is out of character for me, but you know, what are you gonna do? Life, right? So it is the 27th of August if you're listening live at 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you're listening to an archive or a replay, I want to welcome you to the show also. I do want to let you know that we are over in the chat room. You can find it by heading over to 12radio.com. That's number 2 radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. And of course, our handy dandy producer Scott is standing by and he'll gladly grant your request to join the group. You'll see my banner at the top of the page for the Katie Weaver Show. That's where we are chatting. I want you to know that I have made adequate time today to do some readings in the chat room. I want to talk to you guys very specifically today about Merkaba healings and clearings, and I would love to do a couple on the air. So that's what I'm thinking about. That's what's rolling around in my head. I also want to let you know that I am live streaming this event from the chat room. So if you'd rather watch it, you can do that there. So I would love to see you either way. One caveat is that if you are in the chat room, I would like it if you posted in the chat rather than in the live stream if you have questions for me. The live stream, the chat in it moves so fast that I will lose your stuff, and I don't want to lose your stuff. I want to be here for you. So if you're watching the live stream, if you have a question or a reading request or a comment, if you could please put it under my banner, I would really love that. That would be great. So thank you so much. All right. Well, that's that. I hope you guys are having a good week. It is feeling like fall where I live. And of course, I'm a high elevation. I live in Idaho, not terribly far from Yellowstone Park, and we do get, you know, our seasons move a little faster than some of you, and well, here we are. It feels like fall. Don't get me wrong, it's still hot during the day, but wow, our mornings are chilly, our evenings are chilly. We're wearing jackets at night, we're wrapped in blankets in the morning. It feels really good. I'm excited for fall. I have to admit, one of those pumpkin spice guys. So I'm excited. I love this time of year. I really do. And where we live, it is absolutely gorgeous. There will be so much that you want to do outside. I tend to find myself wanting to spend more time outside in the fall than I do in the summer because of the atmosphere. The energy is just right, you know? So it's fun. It's also harvest time, and though Scott didn't plant very much of a garden this year, he did, of course, plant the greenhouse, and we've been gathering some herbs from the greenhouse and eating cucumbers and wondering if we'll get any tomatoes this year. We might not, but we've also got some zucchinis in the front herb garden that are getting pretty big and ready to harvest, so that's always fun too. These are things that I just love, you know, so it feels good. You might know that I moved my second child last week to college, and so now I have two that are gone to college and just one at home, which is weird. Like Mark said, he said that's hell for a Cancer mama, and I went, yeah, it's been rough. But however, these kids are doing awesome, and I'm so happy for them, and I'm so proud of them chasing their dreams. And honestly, I'll be totally honest, they have a hell of a lot more courage than I did in leaving home, and I'm blown away by them. So it's pretty great. And classes have started, at least for Matea, and she's loving it and really syncing well with her roommates, and her job starts soon, and wow, what a life, right? The kids got, one thing that I think is kind of fun that she didn't realize until the week before school started is that she has a full ride. Isn't that cool? That's from her hard work. It is. And I'm really proud of her for that. And it makes me laugh that we didn't realize that. She was still going to college, of course, but yeah, she's on a full ride where she's at. So good for her. Pretty cool. Okay, I'm seeing some comments about my new backdrop. Yes, what do you think? I was getting really tired of the backdrop that I had. It was getting old, right? I've been using that one for my videos for 2 years, 3 years-ish. So anyway, I got some money. I had some money from my birthday, which this is a very Cancerian thing to do. I'd been hoarding it. Hadn't spent it, hadn't done a thing with it, just was hoarding it because what do you do with the money, right? You got to do something you want with it. You don't want to have regrets later. Like there's a lot of pressure for me in spending money that was gifted to me because I don't want to screw up. But what I realized I really wanted was a new backdrop in my office, and so that's what I invested in. So I hope you guys love it. If you can see the little lights behind me, I love them. They're so cool. They don't really show up during the day, but at night they look like Edison bulbs. They were actually a gift from Christy from a recent trip, and I just love them. So kind of fun. Anyway, so thank you for the kind words about my new backdrop. I am in love with it. I was so excited last week to do my show with my new backdrop, and life just did not line up. I had bronchitis and was coughing harder than I wanted to be on the show, and I was a day or two out from moving that kid to college. She needed to have one last trip to the rheumatologist. There was just so much happening, and I went, sometimes you have to, something has to give. And I really hate it when the show is what has to give. But, of course, family comes first, and sometimes life comes first. And honestly, I don't know how much you guys all wanted me coughing in your ears anyway. So anyway, all's well that ends well, right? But I was really bummed because I was so excited to launch my brand new backdrop, and I didn't get to, but whatever, boo, right? It's all good. Everything is fine. Okay. I hope you guys are having a good week. Last week, something happened. It seemed to happen in the stratosphere. There was an enormous amount of loss. Not really even last week, but the week before and into last week. So much death, loss of jobs, loss of relationships, bad news. It was kind of epic. We just see that sometimes where it seems like a lot of it rolls out at once. And for somebody in my line of work, I see it because I have all of you, and so I'm having clients coming in with really huge life things happening, life changes, huge life altering events. And of course, so that's a part of it. But then of course, also just being on social media and witnessing that. And I think also just the fact that the rainforest is burning, and that is tugging really hard at a lot of us. I know all of you guys too, all of our empathic hearts. It's horrifying. And I think those are all things that probably added to the collective. But the energy last week got quite intense. Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday, just a lot of heavy stuff. And then we kind of started to lighten up over the weekend. And then I noticed something else really interesting. A whole bunch of babies were born. I couldn't believe my Facebook feed. All of these babies, within about 3 days' time, I had 6 different friends who had babies. Or grandparents, grandmothers who had grandbabies, things along those lines. And I went, there's like a purge happening. We have people leaving. We have people coming. Very interesting times. I don't say that to make you paranoid about anything, right? You're safe. You're okay. Just an interesting aside to the energy. And again, because of my line of work, I get to have kind of an interesting perspective, I think, on the energy of the time, and that's one of them. So at any rate, so here we are, right? But through all of that, the other thing that I really witnessed in a lot of my clients was a growing of their power, a growing of their confidence, and more of an ability and willingness to speak up and to stand up, and I think to recognize things for the way they are. I've seen many of you over the summer have opportunities to revisit childhood situations and see them through an adult's eyes. I think that's really important. It's been very important so that you could forgive yourself, understand, and put the responsibility where it belonged for things that happened when you were children. And I think that that in itself has been something that's been extremely powerful in healing this summer. It wasn't maybe a shift that I anticipated happening, but I've seen it with many clients that were able to look back on something and go, you know, that's screwed up. That's not okay. I didn't do that, did I? Yeah. No, because you were a child. That's been a really interesting thing. When talking about doing Merkaba healing and Merkaba work, it comes up for me a lot that we have this pattern going on where as we are, in adulthood, as we're healing from childhood traumas, and not all of you have much in childhood traumas. I hope you don't, but some of you do. And some of you have idyllic childhoods, but still look back and realize there is some kind of a scar there that affected you. And maybe it wasn't at the hands of your parents or your siblings. Maybe it happened at school. Maybe it happened at a friend's house. But in looking back on childhood traumas, and traumas can be huge, right? They can be like molestation or child abuse, divorce, deaths of grandparents, big pieces. And please don't think I'm putting equal weight on all of those things. I'm not. I hope it didn't sound that way. That's not my intention. But epic things in childhood, sometimes they weren't epic things. Sometimes it was your friend's dad that yelled at you and scared you and you ran home crying. And that left a fear in you that you haven't been able to put your finger on. Or perhaps it was a bit of bullying, some mean girl business in junior high that has affected your self-esteem in a way that you can't quite bounce back from. There's a lot of things that happen as we are forming, right? From birth up until, well, we're always forming, but really from birth up until the end of high school that leave indelible marks upon us. And especially like birth to 8, that sometimes you have scars because of situations that it's worthwhile for us to look back on and go, look what happened here. That wasn't okay. You shouldn't have been treated that way. You shouldn't have been spoken to that way. You shouldn't have been whatever. And we can do some healing around that. And I don't know why that's coming up today so strongly. I have to be honest, that wasn't a part of what I was planning on talking about today, but it's what's coming out of my mouth. And I always trust Spirit that if this is what we're supposed to talk about, it's what we're talking about. So on that note, if you feel like there are some things from your childhood, whether it is the biggies or the littlies or the whatever, it doesn't matter, right? Sometimes people come and they say, this is probably silly, but I was heavily bullied from 6th to 8th grade. And, and I go, that's not silly. That's huge. These things are all things that help affect who we are. They become scars sometimes on our DNA that are things we carry, things that we carry in our subconscious that can really affect your adult life. So if I'm talking to you, if there are experiences like this in your own childhood, and of course when we're talking about Merkaba healing, and then we can dig into DNA healing and we go much further than you, but right now I'm just focusing on you. If there are things that you feel like have affected you, regardless of how big or little you think they are, let's not even worry about that. Let's work on it. Let's talk about it. Getting it out in the open, speaking it, looking at it through a new lens are all ways that we heal it. And then we do a Merkaba healing. We heal all of the facets of that through every cell of your physical body, every layer of your emotional body, and every fiber of your spirit body. And when we do that, we can put some things to bed that have maybe been nagging at you for an incredibly long time. So if I'm talking to you, come talk to me. Whether you come and talk to me in the chat or you come talk to me at Listen, let's work on it. You don't have to carry that old shame anymore, right? You don't have to carry that old guilt. You don't have to carry that old pain. You don't. We can wash that out. So let's do, right? Okay. That was a soapbox. Alrighty, just taking a look. Okay. Let's take a look at Luminous. Luminous magazine, of course, is the magazine that I publish every single week with very with a great deal of assistance from a lot of my colleagues over at One to Listen. I put a link in the chat room, but you can also come over to katie-weaver.com and click on the Katie's Magazine button and go right into it. But let's take a look. There's a few things that I would love to bring to your attention. New cover this week. I love that. I would like to walk all the way to the end of that little dock and sit at the end and dip my feet in, and doesn't that look amazing? With a pumpkin spice latte, of course. Keto, right? Okay. A note from me. I did talk a little about how fallish it's feeling here and how happy that makes me. I called the magazine this week the Spin Your Own Web edition. I was thinking about spiders, of all things. Thinking about how spiders do their own thing. They spin their own web. They make it their way. You know, maybe it has similarities to other spiders like them or to other spiders in general, but it's theirs. They put it where they want it. They shape it the way they want it, and then they use it to grab the opportunities that they want, right? Opportunities for them, of course, are other bugs, a fly, maybe a moth, maybe another spider, I don't know. But then they drink up what they need. They get their nourishment. And I was thinking about that in the scope of us. You have to make your own web. You have to spin your own web in life. You have to spin a web that is yours, that's uniquely yours. You know? You do things differently than other people. That's okay. You eat different things than other people. That's okay. Your morning routine is totally different from somebody else's. So what, right? You're spinning your own web. And I guess maybe this is on my mind because I've been, obviously checking my kids out of the nest to spin their own webs. And I'm sure they do things differently in their own little parts of the world than I did them at home. I'm sure some are the same, but it's still okay. The point is, you spin the web that is right for you. You spin the web that's right for your family. Judgment be damned, right? We don't care. In that web, you grab the things that you want, the things that work for you, the things that make you happy, the things that nourish you. And then I hope that you give yourself permission to drink up all of the joy, all of the magic, all of the love that you can. And when I say I hope you give yourself permission, I mean that, because I see this all the time, and I do it myself sometimes. We put so many limits on our happiness. I'll be happy when? I'll be comfortable when? I'll like this house when? I'll like this job when? I'll like my car if I'm driving this, right? It never ends. And this is what society wants us to think, because we are easy consumers that way, right? Right? Because we're always chasing our happiness. You'll be happy when you have the newest iPhone, right? I know you guys already know this, and I don't really need to give you this talk except for that it comes up, so here we are. Give yourself permission to drink all the joy out of life now. Give yourself permission to like your little house. Give yourself permission to love your round body. Give yourself permission to be happy with the job you have. Give yourself permission to like your life. We're in this weird pattern where it's almost not okay to like your life. You're supposed to always be aspiring for more. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's also okay to like what you have and be happy with what you have and to have gratitude and joy in what you have. I guess maybe that's our assignment this week. If we were to have some marching orders this week, I think that's what they would be, right? Like what you got. Okay. You can change things. Of course you can. But you don't have to hate your life. It's not cool. It's been given to us that it's cool. It's supposed to be. You're supposed to always not quite be happy where you are, but I disagree. All right, the article that I shared this week, this is actually an old one for me, but it came up very strongly that some of you needed to hear it. It is called You Are Her, She Is You. And I'm going to read it to you. I don't know why. I don't always do this, but it comes up. So we're really empowering today. I guess that's why. I have really been drawn to all things goddess for many years now. I love the old goddesses, mythology, Egyptian tales, etc. I love the oldest depictions of the goddess show a very round, chubby, mommy-shaped goddess. In fact, when I saw pictures of her, I thought, my God, maybe I am the goddess. She's shaped just like me. A good year later, I read a thought-provoking book, The Moon Under Her Feet. That book left me with the full realization that I really am the goddess. I am Isis, goddess of motherhood and domestic arts. I am Inanna, the queen of heaven. I am most certainly Artemis, goddess of dance, singing, and enchantment. I am without a doubt Demeter, goddess of protecting women. I am also Kuan Yin, Vesta, Anu, Danu, Rhiannon, and the list goes on. I am in all of my greatness just like them. When I am nurturing my children, healing my clients, tending my garden, loving my dogs, cleaning my home, baking bread, tending to family members and friends in need, I am the goddess. I am also in my darkest moments, just like them. When I am grieving, sorrowing, raging against injustice, or raging just to rage, I am the goddess. When I am having PMS and I am grouchy, I am still the goddess. When I am laughing with friends, playing games, teasing, joking, singing, and spreading joy, I am the goddess. When I am communing with nature, hiking, swimming, basking in the sunlight, soaking in the moonlight, and loving the earth, I am the goddess. When I can forgive those who have hurt me, and when I can forgive myself for my own missteps, I am the goddess. It is an amazingly freeing realization to become the goddess. I am all-powerful. I control everything around me. I am a formidable force for good, being that I am the goddess and all. So here comes the point. Are you ready? Have you figured this out? You are the goddess. Yes, you are. You really are. When you nurture, love, laugh, cry, dance, sing, rage, scream, or just be, you are she, the queen of heaven. When you love someone you would love to hate, you are her. When you get all riled up about something seemingly trivial, you are her. She is you. You are me. I am you. Do you get it yet? We are all one. One in our love, one in our efforts, and one in our attempts to change the world. The goddess in me needs to change the world. She is passionate about it. She won't leave me alone about it. She came here to get things done, and she won't rest until it is so. Will you join me? Will you rise up and claim your divinity and be the goddess? Will you smile when people call you a bitch and know that bitch is just another word for a goddess that scares the crap out of people? Will you follow your heart, listen to your inner guidance, and get the job done? Will you remember, even when you feel like wimping out, that the goddess is not a sissy? I believe that you will. I know that if you let the goddess out of the bag, that your life will never be the same. I know that if you decide to embrace your own inner goddess and join us, that you will be a force to be reckoned with. I know that you will be unstoppable, fearless, and I hope that every once in a while you will proudly wear the label of bitch goddess. It is a great honor to walk this path with all of you. And I really mean that. I wrote this years and years ago, but I love it just as much as I did when it first flowed through me. Which goddess are you? How many? Probably lots, right? You can find yourself in nearly all of them. Okay, moving along. Kai wrote a really thought-provoking article this week about coincidence or synchronicity. I really found it interesting because some people believe that coincidence and synchronicity are the same thing. Some people do not. Some people don't believe in coincidence. They only believe in synchronicity. I really like that she fleshed out what both of those words mean and how to pay attention for them or to them in your own life. So thank you, Kai. As always, thought-provoking work. Okay, Dr. Elisa says, if you are stuck, stop justifying and rationalizing your perceptions. It is time to look in a new direction. How often do we do that? Justify and rationalize your perceptions. It's kind of like what I was talking about with childhood stuff, that when you stop and take a look back, you can go, whoa, what? That was really messed up, right? However, as a kid, it was justified and rationalized to you, so you did that too. Lots of inner work, it seems like, maybe happening this week. Christy brings us the flow card, staying in the flow. I move with the tides of universal energy. I am open to receiving the actions of spirit. Are you? If you're not, let's work on that. The weekly cosmic strip from Elizabeth is so cute. It is a blue. Do I know my colors? I did go to kindergarten, I promise. It's a blue bug. It is Angel Beth driving. Octavia, the incredible octopus, is in the passenger seat riding shotgun. She says, no rear view mirror required. It's all ahead of us now. I absolutely loved this one, Elizabeth. Really, one of your best. Absolutely darling. Melissa Caprio says, I am the queen of the universe. As you are. I think we just covered that. Chrisanne wrote something that I think you all need to read. She says, we are interrupting our regularly scheduled article to check in and offer a reminder of how to cope when the world is literally on fire. Really, really good words from Chrisanne. Taya brought us a really interesting and kind of a fun article about lessons in ignoring intuitive guidance, sharing a moment where she did not listen and didn't like the outcome. We've all done it, man. But I love that she shared it. She's vulnerable with us. She's wise. And thank you, Taya, for that. And I hope your head feels better. The crystal this week is blue topaz. Blue topaz improves communication, encourages social interaction, and offers an unconditional love. Do you have any blue topaz? Blue topaz is gorgeous. Jenny writes about accepting the unacceptable. I think we're all feeling a little bit right now that energy of there's a lot of things going down in this world that are not what we like, right? Not what we appreciate. And somehow we have to find a way to maneuver through them. We have to find a way to help. We have to find a way to be a part of the solution. And I really appreciated her words. The collective daily message for today from Laurie Light. Before you act, think things through and get a broader perspective on the situation. No knee-jerk reactions today. Thank you for that, Laurie. Anita brings us Babaji. I might say that wrong. Babaji is known as the saint and yogi of modern India. Really interesting. I love what she's had to say. If you study yoga, this will mean more to you than to those of us that don't, probably. But I really loved that. And frankly, it makes me want to study yoga. Maybe I should. Kelly brings us Bitch Scopes, of course, and this is for the last of the month. The last of the month already. It's almost September, you guys. It's wild. It really is. So she gives us a whole bunch of things to look forward to this week. Sometimes look forward to, or just at least know. As you know, the new moon is coming right up at the end of this week. Are you ready for that? It feels like a really powerful one. Another big transition like the full moon was this month. So pretty good. Okay, Julie's Gems. Julie brings us her Soul Collage article. She brings us a wisdom card this week. It's great. And if you guys pay attention to Julie and her Soul Collage work, she has a class coming up over at One Two Academy in September, where she is teaching you how to do Soul Collage. It's going to be really cool. You'll basically be creating your own deck for your own purposes, which is, I think, amazing. So thank you for that. The Radiant Poem Project, of course, is brought to us by Jennifer Dove, and I loved the poem this week. The poem this week is The Journey by Mary Oliver, and I loved it. Really loved it. Thank you, Jennifer, for bringing your wisdom to us and all of your thought-provoking work. I loved it. So that is Luminous this week. I hope you guys get a chance to read through it. I hope that some of the articles sing to your soul. I suspect that they will. And thank you to all of our contributors. I really appreciate all of your hard work in Luminous. All right, I'm going to jump back into the chat room here quickly. Okay, so much going on. Okay. Christina says, Katie gave me a Merkaba healing at the beginning of the month and I feel so much better. I highly recommend it to anyone who's thinking about it. It's really good work. It's not mine. It came to me and probably I've tweaked it into mine in some ways, but the Merkaba work is powerful. It really is. It's fun for me, really. Okay. Let's do some singing bowl work. What I wanted to do today is it's 2 bowls. So we're going to work through connecting the sacral, which is your center of creativity, to the third eye. So the third eye, of course, is here. This is your center of intuition. Why do we want to connect your intuition to your sacral? Well, it's pretty obvious, right? We want a really great flow of intuitive creativity coming through you. Whatever it is, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that you're making something. It could also be the way you're problem solving, the way you're looking at life, the way you're approaching things. But it could also be something totally different. Maybe it is something you're creating or birthing. But when you have a great flow between the third eye and the sacral, then you can create intuitively so easily and birth things into the world that are supposed to be here. Have you ever had a great idea? Something that just struck you out of the blue and you didn't do it? Maybe it was for a book, maybe it was for a business, maybe it was for something else. And maybe you didn't do it. Maybe you thought, that's an awesome idea. I can't do it. Okay, well, how often then have you seen within the next 6 months or so someone else do the same thing? It's happened over and over in my life. I used to think that that was my fault for missing the boat, for not jumping on it. And I have since discovered or realized that it isn't. It is that when there are things that need to be birthed into creation, things that the world needs at this moment. You might be given that opportunity. That might strike you. Maybe the time in your life isn't right for it. Maybe financially it's not something that you can really approach. Maybe you just don't know how. Well, you'll do it or you won't. But if you don't, I promise you, somebody else will. It's funny how things like that work. You'll be getting that inspiration, but if it's supposed to be here, it's going to be here. It's always interesting to me that you think about, I should write a book about something, and then you don't. Somebody else is going to write that book. Maybe not exactly from your perspective, but it's still happening. Interesting, huh? Anyway, that to me sometimes has to do with the energetic flow between your third eye and your sacral. We want them to be in balance. So we're going to balance them both first. So you always work from the bottom up. At least that's the way I've always done it and been schooled. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start with the sacral bowl first. And I'm going to chime it. All I'm going to do is ask you to sit with the vibration of the singing bowl and ask that your sacral is cleared and brought into perfect balance and alignment, okay? That's the intention we're holding. Cleared out and brought into perfect balance and alignment. That's all. So go ahead and shift your consciousness into your sacral now. All right, here we go. Good. Okay, so that's the first step, right? All right, so now we're going to do the same work in the third eye. So now you will laugh because my third eye bowl is much smaller and has a lot higher pitch than my sacral bowl does. Someday I'll replace this bowl, but I kind of like it. It's easy for my little hands to handle. So same thing. I'm going to ask you to shift your consciousness into your third eye. And again, we are holding space, holding the intention that the third eye will be cleared out and brought into perfect balance and alignment. So here we go. Perfect. Okay, so that's where we start, right? Now we'll put the bowls away and we're just going to do a little bit of psychic work together. So join me here back in your solar or your sacral. And your sacral, of course, I should have said, I always assume you guys know, but maybe you don't, is the chakra right below your belly button. It's orange to most people. And this, of course, is the center of creativity, joy, and sexuality. So join me here in the sacral. Now I'm going to ask you to pull a silver thread of light out of your sacral and send it up to your third eye and plug it in. You feel that? You might get a little chill down your back, feel a little bit of a shift. Now, by the same token, I'd like you to pull a silver thread from your third eye and send it down and plug it into your sacral. This should look a bit like a figure 8 between the two cords crossing. Good, good. So a powerful connection is here. Now let's empower it. So go back into your sacral. And I want you to envision this two silver threads creating a figure 8 to your third eye. I want you to send a powerful burst of energy from your sacral all the way through that cord into your third eye and then back down into your sacral. It's reciprocal. So let's start sending from one to the other and back down. So from the sacral now all the way to the third eye, and from the third eye now all the way back into the sacral. You get it? Let's do it again. From the sacral all the way to the top of the third eye and then back down into the sacral. Now let's run it a little faster. This is an energy that should move fairly quickly. Good. Good. So here you go. I can feel that flow nicely here. I think you guys got it. So that is your connection between your creativity and your intuition. If you are in the process of creating and you're feeling like you're cut off from your intuition, go back through that process. Find those threads or make new ones and connect those two so that you are always in the flow of intuitive creativity, whether you're making something, solving a problem, or reevaluating your life. This is a really powerful connection to have. Okay, there you go. That just felt really important today. Okay, Sheila says, tropical storm or potentially Hurricane Dorian is heading our way tomorrow. Mom and I are at the airport on our way home right now, Anything we should know or be aware of? When we left, Dorian wasn't in the picture. Right. Sheila, I feel like you guys are safe to go home. I don't feel like Dorian is going to turn into a full-blown hurricane. This is going to be nothing like what happened last time. It'll be a strong storm, and, you know, it's not going to be fun, but it's not going to be the, you know, the lights out tragedy that happened last time. You are safe to just go ahead and go on home, as long as you feel safe to go on home. Of course, always trust your gut. But if you guys feel good about going, go ahead and go. I think you still, you know, you'll feel good about getting back to your place. And I know with Mom, you are protecting her health. And so, of course, you want to just get her home where she's safe and sound, and you guys can hunker down and weather the storm together. So sending lots of light your way, Sheila, so that you guys, yeah, to see you guys get there safely and happily, and so that you can be cozy at home. Okay. Good. Norella says that was a powerful, intense energy. It was, huh? You know, I didn't have much of a shift in my sacral. I didn't feel much, but man, my third eye, I didn't realize how much pressure was in my head. You guys, sometimes when you do this work, you go, holy moly, that hurt more than I thought it would. And that's how it felt in my third eye today. So probably I'm the guy who needed that work, but I'm guessing some of you guys did as well. Okay. Let's get up here into the chat room a little bit. Terry said, I would be grateful for a Merkaba healing if time permits. I had my port put in, but they haven't used it yet. It was too irritated. Okay. Terry, let's ask exactly what we need to work on for you. Sometimes you guys come to the table and you tell me exactly what you want me to work on, and that's great. Sometimes you don't. You just say, I need something, and we work on it together. And that's okay too. There's no wrong answer to healing, right? All right. So, Terry, I'm going to take just a minute and ask. They said, let's remove stagnant energy. Let's remove fear. And let's remove resistance. And I feel like those are three things that they want to move from you so that we can imbue you with a whole lot more higher frequency stuff. So they're also telling me that throughout your course of being at doctor's offices and in the hospital and even at physical therapy, you have come across so many energies of other people's that sometimes you soak up a little bit because you are a true blue empath. That part of this work is removing other people's debris from you so that you're completely free to go through this process with your own energy only. So that makes sense. That's important. All right, let's get started then, Terry. So starting at your feet, commanding a Merkaba healing, commanding billions of many points of light to flood your system now, completely healing, clearing, and releasing any and all energies of fear, of resistance, and anyone else's energies that could be affecting you now. Commanding these energies to be healed and cleared and rendered neutral and inert in all directions of time now, through every cell of your physical body, every layer of your emotional body, and every fiber of your spirit body now. Good. So we're just moving up through you. So Terry, this starts at your feet, and if you could see it, it looks like billions of little tiny blue vortexes racing through all of those cells, layers, and fibers. I am building an enormous amount of pressure right now in my chest and in my head. That may be what you're feeling too. Don't worry, that's going to dissipate when we get there. Sometimes that's just where this energy builds. It's kind of like we're starting in the basement and clearing to the ceiling, you know? All right, so continually moving here. I'm just about to, we're moving through your root right now. Some fear energy rooted in your root chakra that I think is not yours. This feels like family members and maybe others that we're clearing out because that just feels too heavy for you to carry right now. All right, moving up through your sacral. I'm already starting to feel that lightening up on my shoulders through your heart. That's going to feel better soon. All right, and all the way up through your solar plexus. So one more time, let's make the command. So commanding a Merkaba healing, commanding billions of many points of light to flood your system now, completely healing, clearing, and releasing any and all energies of fear, resistance, and anything that you're carrying that belongs to other people. Commanding these energies to be healed and cleared and rendered neutral and inert in all directions of time now, through every cell of your physical body, every layer of your emotional body, and every fiber of your spirit body now. Whew. Big work happening right here in your chest. That is very uncomfortable. I'm sorry. We'll get through that soon here, though. Really releasing. I wonder, Terry, if that's why your port felt so irritated. You sure have a lot of heaviness here in your heart. You've had some old grief from losing your husband come up this last week, too, that has just... it's been a lot to carry. So we're helping you move through that right now. Wow. I hope you felt that just there. That was a nice shift, but really moving up into your throat. Communication has gotten to be kind of tough with family, only because you hate being a Debbie Downer. You hate bringing things up or having to share news that people don't want to hear. The message for you through this, Terry, is that it's okay. It's okay to share it. They want to help carry this. They want to hear it. And that if you withhold things that they need to know, it doesn't make things better, because then they're just in a place of fear and worry, because in that place of not knowing. So don't withhold things that need to be said right now. It's really important for you to empower your own voice to say what you need to say, but also to help share this with your family so that they can help carry it with you. All right, moving all the way up to your third eye. Your third eye feels good. The work we just did with the singing bowl, I think, has paid off, but I also feel like you're feeling very close to your spirit right now, and that's good. All right, all the way through to your crown. Good. All right. Now, no good clearing is complete without a blessing, right? In energy work, we don't take things away that aren't replaced with something else. That's an important part. So I want to go back. So we're going to go and offer a blessing now. So starting back, Terry, at your feet, commanding a Merkaba blessing, commanding billions of many points of light to flood your system now, completely shifting your frequency to a deep inner knowing that all is well, to a deep sense of peace, and a deep sense of feeling loved and loving, commanding these frequencies to shift through every cell of your physical body, every layer of your emotional body, and every fiber of your spirit body now. And now just watch that. And should be no big surprise that the blessing always happens much, much faster than the clearing work does. So I'm just going to watch that shift. That just feels tingly. You might feel that racing up your spine all the way to the top of your head. Good. And so it is. Okay, so that work is done. And Terry, thank you for trusting me with that for you. Thank you for the honor of being able to do so. And please let us know how we can support you. You know how much love is around here for you. I hope you know it's here. Okay, Eva, I would love to do a Merkaba clearing for you. We have 6 minutes. We have 5 minutes. We can do it. We're going to be booking it a little bit, but nothing I haven't done in the past, right? All right, Eva. You know what comes up for me is that we are really removing other people's energy from you. That is the biggest one. Oh, and judgment. And fear of judgment. Okay, sorry, I jumped the gun. Fear of judgment and other people's energy that's just sticky on you. All right, here we go. Starting at your feet, commanding a Merkaba clearing, commanding billions of many points of light to flood your system now, completely healing, clearing, and releasing any and all fear of judgment and any energy from other people that is affecting you in any way that doesn't serve your highest and best good now. Commanding these energies to be shifted, healed, and cleared through every cell of your physical body, every layer of your emotional body, and every fiber of your spirit body now. Okay, that triggered some anxiety immediately in my heart chakra. So don't worry, Eva, if you're feeling that. We're going to get to that as we go here. Again, sometimes, this work is funny that way. It triggers some stuff that might be uncomfortable for a couple of minutes, but then we will get through it and to it and clear it up for you. All right, moving through your sacral. A big shift right now. We shifted through your root pretty quickly, and I'm working quick because we're going to run out of time and I don't want to leave you hanging. But big shift through your sacral and solar plexus. You know how we talked about some childhood stuff affecting you into adulthood? There's some childhood, some put downs, some not being able. It's kind of that children should be seen and not heard kind of energy, I think, in your solar plexus. So we're moving that out so that you can shine a little brighter without judging yourself or feeling any shame for that. Moving up into your heart. All right, see, that anxiety is already gone. That shifted away pretty quickly. You have such an enormous heart chakra, and that is a compliment. When I look in your heart, I want to see green and I want to see pink, because I want to know that you have love for self as well as that unconditional love that you carry. And I'm really pleased with the pinks that I see here. That self-love is so important. And I think that you have here in the last year, no more, 5 years, they're saying, really amped up that piece, and it's been huge for you. So big props on that. All right, moving through your throat. Yep. Heartburn, all the way up into that, removing something burning in your throat. This is anger that wants to be shouted from the rooftops. We're just going to help drain it from you here. All right, all the way up through your third eye. Feels great, and into your crown. Good. Eva, that was a quick healing, but I think a powerful one. So of course I would never leave you without a blessing. So let's go back to your feet and command a Merkaba blessing, commanding billions of many points of light to flood your system now, shifting your frequency to a place of deep inner peace, a deep inner knowing that all is well, and an enhanced feeling of confidence and self-worth, commanding these energies to be shifted, these frequencies to shift through every cell of your physical body, every layer of your emotional body, and every fiber of your spirit body now. Good, good, good work. All right, all the way to the top of your head. That released something in your jaw too, right here. I wonder if you've been clenching, or if when you're worrying, you're clenching. We released something pretty tight there in your jaw, Eva. Okay. Great. Okay, good work. All righty. We have done what we do, pretty typical around here, right? I do want to let you guys know that if a Merkaba clearing and blessing is something that you could benefit from, I'm doing them over at 1-2 Listen. I do this work all the time, but I do have a time-based session. It's a 15-minute time-based session, and you can purchase that, and then the next time you call me, listen, the computer will initiate that session, and we can do this work for you if this is something that would benefit you as well, for, as you can, I'm sure, see, lots and lots of different reasons. So I put a link in the chat room, but you can also find that by just heading over to 12listen.com, click on my profile, Katie Weaver, and then just scroll down to my time-based sessions and you'll find it there. So I would love to do that work for you if it's something that you would benefit from. As always, thank you so much for being here. You will find me at 11 a.m. Pacific with the Psychic Sisters on Thursday, but I'll be over at 1-2 Listen for the rest of the day and evening if you need anything. So thanks so much for being here. You've been listening to The Katie Weaver Show on 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.